Hi everyone, this is e-learning class number 8. Today we are going to study adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of frequency. I read a book every day. I read a book every day. I always read a book. I play the saxophone 5 times a week. It is I usually play the saxophone. I usually play the saxophone. I ride my bike twice a week. I often ride my bike. I play basketball once a week. I sometimes play basketball. I go to the cinema once a month. I rarely go to the cinema. I don't drink alcohol. I never drink alcohol. Remember, we say always, it's 100%. Say usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and we say never. Never. Never, it's 0%. Remember, we say once, twice. For example, I play football twice a week. 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. I ride my bike twice a week. So, we say I ride my bike twice a week. I often,
Correct.
I often ride my bike. I walk my dog every day. I walk my dog every day. It is I always walk my dog.
Correct.
I always walk my dog. I play the saxophone 5 times a week. I play the saxophone 5 times a week. I usually
Correct.
play it. I usually play it. I go to the cinema once a month. I go to the cinema once a month. I rarely go to the cinema.
Correct.
I rarely go to the cinema. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. I never drink alcohol.
Correct.
I never drink alcohol. I play basketball once a week. I play basketball once a week. I sometimes play basketball.
Correct.
I sometimes play basketball. Now we say always, usually, often, sometimes, never. Peter sometimes listens to music with his friend. Dave always plays basketball in the park. I buy magazines. I buy magazines. I never buy magazines. We watch TV on Fridays. We watch TV on Fridays. We often watch TV on Fridays. They go out with friends on Saturday evening. They always go out with friends on Saturday evening. Adam reads comics. Adam sometimes reads comics. My sister drinks milk for breakfast. My sister usually drinks milk for breakfast. Remember, adverbs of frequency. We use adverbs of frequency before a verb, before the verb. But when we have verb to be, we use adverbs of frequency after verb to be. Read and circle the correct sentence. Mike always walks to school. Mike walks always to school. Which is correct, A or B? Of course, it is A. Here, we don't have verb to be. We have a verb. The verb is walk. So, we should use the adverb of frequency always before the verb. Does usually Alice go swimming on Sundays? Does Alice usually go swimming on Sundays? Which is correct, A or B? Here, do we have a verb or verb to be? We have a verb. So, should we use the adverb of frequency before go or after verb? Of course, we should use the adverb of frequency, before. So it's B. Does Alice usually go swimming on Sundays? It's B. Emma plays often tennis on Fridays. Emma often plays tennis on Fridays. It's B. Emma often plays tennis on Fridays. Mira is always on time for work. Mira always is on time for work. A or B? It's A. Because we have verb to be. Paul never drives to work. Paul drives never to work. Is it A or B? It's A. We sometimes go to the theater at the weekend. We go sometimes to the theater at the weekend. A or B? It's A. Write the sentences using the adverb of frequency. Here you should rewrite the sentence using the adverbs of frequency between brackets. John is late. Here we have verb to be. So we should use the adverb of frequency after verb to be. John is never late. The children eat ice cream. Sometimes. We say, the children sometimes eat ice cream. I go to the cinema. I often go to the cinema. You are polite to your teachers. Always. You are always polite to your teachers, because we have a verb to be. Katie helps her mom. Katie often helps her mom. The boys are funny. The boys are sometimes funny. Evan and I do our homework. Always. Evan and I always do our homework. Dad washes his car. Dad never washes his car. Kara is very kind, usually. Kara is usually very kind. Now you should answer these questions about you. How often do you play basketball? How often do you play soccer? I usually play soccer. I never play soccer. You should answer. How often do you paint a picture? How often do you paint a picture? How often do you ride a bike? How often do you ride a bike? You should answer using adverbs of frequency. How often do you eat soup? How often do you eat soup? How often do you sing songs? How often do you sing songs? How often do you watch TV? How often do you watch TV? How often do you sleep in the afternoon? How often do you sleep in the afternoon? How often do you talk on the phone? How often do you talk on the phone? How often do you drink milk? How often do you drink milk? Now, take your time. You are going to answer these questions. How often do you eat fish? You should use adverbs of frequency. Always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never. How often do you eat fish? How often do you drink milk? How often do you watch TV? How often do you ride a bike? How often do you go swimming? How often do you drink tea? How often do you go to the cafe? How often do you read books? How often do you brush your teeth? How often do you take a shower? How often do you wash your face? How often do you see a doctor? How often do you sing songs? How often do you drink Coke? Take your time, pause the video, answer these questions. بهذا نكون وصلنا لنهاية الدرس التفاعلي رقم 8. موعدنا إن شاء الله مع دروس أخرى. شكرا على تتبعكم.